Officials.
Answer that. Yes, we're aware. A simple answer is yes, we're aware. We have gotten some statistics from the Ministry of Education.
All right, Mr. Newell.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't turn the mic off. I'm still appealing.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you, Chair. Just before, because, and if I have to establish it at every meeting, I will establish it at every meeting, Chairman.
You just made a hell of a statement for a long time.
No, but you're not going to be a bully in here. You know that already. You're not going to bully me.
Yeah.
So, Chairman, my questions will be based on 73. Will be based on 73A of the PAAC. I'm not here for any pony show, that horse and pony show with nobody. I am here to deal with the business of the people. And what 73A empowers this committee to do, which is to examine budgetary expenditure, to monitor expenditure as it occurs, and to inquire into the administration of the government to determine hindrances to efficiency. That is what I am here to do.
Well,
and so
proceed.
I have some questions
Proceed.
for Mr. Clark, for the
please,
ministry based on that. No, but before, Chairman, I think it's important that Jamaica knows that he doesn't represent what the sample size of parliamentarians is. He's extremely rude and brash and crude and vulgar. And that isn't necessary in a place like this, as a gentleman.
All right, go,
Chairman.
Let's go
What?
to the question. No, well, if you would keep quiet, we could conduct the work of the committee.
Chairman,
You spoke for like
Chairman.
5 minutes in a statement before I asked you for the question. Just allow Mr. Newell to lay the foundation for his question.
My mother watching, she wouldn't be proud of me talking while here I talking. All right, so the PS mentioned earlier, Chairman, that the ministry, so I support the ideals, a reliable, efficient public transportation system that is affordable and safe. It was mentioned earlier that the JUTC is implementing and managing the system, but that the ministry procured the buses. Is it the norm for does the ministry generally procure buses for the JUTC's fleet?
Definitively, yes.
So that is
Not
general.
only the rural school bus, but other buses in the fleet.
Was the JUTC consulted in terms of the decision on whether the buses would be new or used for this particular program?
No, they could not be consulted because it was an unsolicited proposal that the ministry received.
So the policy was in response to an unsolicited proposal? Yeah.
No,
Was the policy in response to an unsolicited
PS,
proposal?
No,
PS,
no,
don't
sir.
keep turning off your mic.
Yeah.
Just keep on your mic.
Okay, no.
So the policy was there ahead of the unsolicited proposal?
Yes, sir.
So the ministry had intended to implement a rural school bus system and to procure buses for same.
Yes, sir.
Was there any consideration of whether the buses to be procured would have been new or used for this system?
The consideration started out as being new. However, based on the unsolicited proposal, they were used buses and we accepted that.
Would it have been prudent to, since the ministry has an agency that is in the business of managing a large fleet and dealing with the issues involved, would it have been prudent to get some advice from the agency before deciding whether new or used buses would have been, because an unsolicited proposal is not something that binds you. It is a proposal. So I just want to know whether it would have been prudent to get some advice from the agency that has the experience, institutional knowledge in terms of operating and maintaining large public transportation, large public transportation fleet.
What I can say at this point in time is that the JUTC assessed the unsolicited proposal. Was it always the intention of the ministry to roll out this program in September 2025? I would not say given that timeline, but what I will say, it was always the intention of the ministry to roll out a rural school bus system. Actually, it was supposed to be rolled out from 2023.
So you were behind in terms of when you had intended to roll out.
Yes, sir.
So the unsolicited proposal, was any opinion sought from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, for example, which had experience implementing a used vehicle program for their fleet?
No.
In terms of the monthly cost of maintenance, has any study been done to see how that compares to the fleet that the JUTC has? So year one on acquisition of a JUTC bus, traditionally, has any study been done to see how the maintenance costs for this fleet compare to that?
I think you're talking about life cycle costs.
Yes.
But I'm going to invite Mr. Ellington. Then I'm going to ask you to pause because you've gone through a number of parts to your question. So I'm going to ask you to pause after the life cycle costs, and then I'm going to go to Mr. Dawes and then Mr. Williams. But so in reformulating Mr. Newell's question, he wants to understand the life cycle costs of operating new versus used vehicles.
You want to?
In understanding the life cycle, is there a study being done versus new versus old versus new?
The answer to that is no. We're not doing one for comparison, but the fact is newer buses cost less to maintain in the initial years in the fleet. The older the buses get, it is more that they cost to maintain on an annual basis, because you go now into scheduled maintenance, scheduled replacement or rebuilding of components. So it wouldn't be, you wouldn't get the best results by comparing the maintenance cost per year for brand new buses with 10-year-old buses.
P.S., you wanted to?
I wanted to make a point that it should be noted that we're not paying maintenance costs on the bus now. That is included in the contract.
For how long?
Up to March 31st of this
Of
month.
2026?
Yes, sir. So from the buses that have been operating, we're not paying maintenance costs
For the first year.
for the first year.
Mr. Newell, I'm asking you to hold the questions to the next round, and I'm going to Dr. Dawes.
Chairman,
Okay,
with the
you take
data
some time to get back.
from coming through the information that I have here.
All right. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Chair. So just a few questions on security. Can you tell us some of the security features that the rural school bus system comes with? I know there's camera inside, etc.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, sir. The school buses, they are equipped with features for tracking the buses along route, for speed monitoring, for aggressive braking and cornering, for driver behavior monitoring. We actually have a camera that is focused on the driver. And we have cameras through the cabin of the bus that can monitor student misconduct as well. There are external cameras that can actually assist with investigations in the event that the bus comes into contact with fixed or mobile objects. We are able to monitor the speed of the bus. We have set a lower than normal standard speed for the buses to operate. Even though the speed limit might be 50 kilometers in a particular zone, we give our drivers a slow speed, and we can actually monitor in real time. We can get an alert in our bus operations center if a driver is going above the speed limit, and we can actually make an intervention at the same time.
Who manages the monitoring system? Is it JUTC or do you have a provider?
It's a joint endeavor between the JUTC and the providers who are LHIDRO.
So the providers and JUTC, and this is housed at
At the
JUTC's
Lyndhurst Road bus depot. Yes.
In terms of your parish, I know you have private maintenance providers in some parishes. Can you tell me a little bit about the arrangement? Is it with El Hydro or is it with JUTC?
all the arrangements up to this point for bus servicing and maintenance at the pillars around the country are between El Hydro and third parties. El Hydro will have a contract in place with the JUTC come April 1 for bus servicing and maintenance. But as at right now and up to the end of March, all arrangements are between El Hydro and their third-party contractors.
So come April 1, there will be a contract between El Hydro and the JUTC.
That is correct, sir.
Was this can you tell me a little bit about the procurement, the process for that particular contract?
This is a part of the overall approval process for the procurement of the buses. It actually came with a bus delivery, servicing and maintenance component up to the end of March this year. Thereafter, the JUTC will take over the maintenance costs, and hence we'll enter into a contract with the providers.
You're going to contract?
Who are the same people.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the new buses that you contemplate,
yes,
will a similar, I know they will be dispersed across the country as well, will a similar arrangement be in place with the current service provider, or will you be?
I couldn't speak to that, member, at this time.
That's just another, the $1.4 billion. Does that, just following up on a question that Member Birchall had asked, did that figure include the retrofitting of the buses?
Yes, it did.
That did include.
Yes, it did.
Right.
Mr. Newell, perhaps you could just
two things, Chair. If I generally
I'm going
Okay.
to just invite you, since I see you have the standing orders in front of you.
All right.
to
It is
just
about
read
that
the
we've been trying
section.
to learn and
No, man.
build some
You're doing well,
expertise
you're
on.
doing well.
So it says the 73A says the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee shall have the duty of, and it seems A and B are the only two that it has traditionally, or it is seen to do, examining budgetary expenditure of government agencies and other public bodies to ensure that expenditure is done in accordance with parliamentary approval, monitoring expenditure as it occurs, and keeping the parliament informed of how the budget is being implemented. So those are A and B. But C says inquiring into the administration of the government to determine hindrances to efficiency and making recommendations to the government for the improvement of public administration. I think C gives a
C is
broader
a very broad mandate. But
mandate to look into the administration of.
Even B would provide for examination of these programs that straddle one year to another.
Okay.
We're not like the PAC. We don't have to wait for the appropriations to be
explain that to me,
spent
Chair.
and then they come and do
Don't have
a
to explain that to me at
report.
all. Administration. When you are reviewing the administration of government, what is it that you take that review to mean?
Well, I believe it looks at just how different government programs are managed. And if you read the entire thing, it speaks to hindrances to efficiency, for example. And so if, to take today, because you mentioned the JUTC matter, I think it is totally appropriate for this committee to examine whether one way of implementing versus another.
JTC, the one that I highlighted was Spark for a particular reason.
Right.
Because there's a committee that's supposed to do exactly that, like specific for roads.
But Mrs. Honest, when we look, for example, at the Hurricane Melissa recovery, element of that straddle many different sessional select committees of this parliament, and it's the nature of the PAAC that there will be some overlap at the margins. While we may not be the principal committee to examine infrastructure, the principal committee to examine education, but in the course of our work, we will overlap the work of those committees at the margins. So
I don't think we can say a program is off limits to the PAC.
Yeah, I am
based on how this is structured.
the general feeling of the members, as we have discussed what subjects to go on, they have tended to interpret the standing orders as it relates to the mandate of this committee more broadly than narrowly.
Just one more thing though, Chair, as it relates to the, because one of the things I've been trying to understand is just how who sets the rules for committees. And as I've said the last meeting, and I'll say again, I think whoever occupies the chair, there should be a level of respect for the chair and that role, just the fact that the role is being occupied. I haven't found much about the microphone system in the standing orders, but what I've found, it speaks the language of catching the eye of the chair or of the speaker. We can decide if the microphone is what is to be used, but Rule 4.6 says the Speaker in the House and the Chairman in committees shall have power to regulate the conduct of business in all matters not provided for in these standing orders. So if the standing order doesn't speak to a microphone system and there's a system by which you seek recognition in another way, it is entirely appropriate and allowed based on the standing orders.
Well,
Yeah. The standing orders allow you to find another way so you can raise your hand. If you recall, when you entered Parliament
Yes.
for the first month, I found some persons behaving as if they were children. Literally, the system, as some believe there is a bias, to have the clerk identify individuals. So I didn't do so as Speaker, which would be the same in the chair.
Yeah.
Instead of me writing down who is first, second, third, and sometimes missing the individual, I'd pass that responsibility to the clerk and deputy clerk to say, peruse the Parliament, see what's happening, and you identify the sequence. It didn't work because of members. So the standing orders does not specify that you must use a microphone system.
Right.
But a microphone system which allows persons to be identified one after the other in the sequence in which they touch the mic was one that made it so that there is no human intervention in who is first, who is second, who is third. So I take no issue if the committee decides that you're going to hold up your hand, and if that is what the chair and the committee, not just the chair.
Well, it speaks
Besides
to,
that
no man,
is,
it's in the same, so I deliberately, after I read this, I never took any part in the discussion about whether you wanted hands to be raised or mics to be turned on, as long as I would get an opportunity to participate. So in the same regard, I think the same respect should be given to chair of committee to make a decision in terms of,
So like
because
the
it's a
decision,
simple decision.
So like the
It's
decision
in my
the
mind, it
chair
shouldn't detain a
makes
lot.
That chairman's prerogative is such that I'm going to ask the questions at the beginning.
Well, there are ways.
I mean, I don't think we're going to find agreement on this. I think you've read what the standing orders say. My view as chairman is that the mic system does not replace the chairman. The chairman presides over the committee. The mic system is here to serve the committee, not the committee to serve the mic system. So we've been going on fine up to now, and
you deal with your bias.
I really, just allow me to finish. Just allow me to finish. I have tried to be impartial in my conduct of this committee, and the fact that from time to time members on both sides are maybe upset with me suggests to me that I am achieving impartiality, right? And that is something I would commend to you, Mrs. Wanis, when you're presiding in the chair in the House. But members, I mean, it's almost 1:00. I think the staff would like to have lunch. I don't think we need to prolong this anymore. Further, you had a suggestion, Mr. Williams? Could you press your mic?
It was working fine, and I don't agree with that. You won't get into your business, but a member was dislodged from this committee because of the same
No member
issue.
was dislodged from this committee. So please don't misrepresent.
A member was not removed. Again, on a point of order, Chairman.
That's rubbish. That's rubbish.
That's different
That-
than even know.
Did you remember right that answer? The member did not say
Anyway.
that. The member never
No.
said that. No, he never
Anyway,
said he resigned
members,
because of that. He didn't resign in the meeting. He did not resign.
Could we I don't think there's any point in prolonging. So could we settle on the date of the next meeting as April? If we are to, we kind of lose our cycle if we miss March 25th, which I don't have a problem with. So the next available Wednesday morning would be April 29th. No, Mr. You are heading down a path that, you can't speak for another member who is not here. So let's move beyond that. April 29th, can we agree on date of next week, April 29th? All right. There being April 29th. Didn't you ask for, you said a break? I'm proposing the clerk has told me the next available Wednesday morning is the 29th. I'm saying, can we all agree on that? Aye? Okay. Can I have a motion for the adjournment? So, second, all in favor? Thank you. The meeting stands adjourned.